I moved into the old apartment on Willow Street because it was cheap and quiet. The landlord seemed nice, the rent was low, and the place, at first glance, was perfectly fine. It was on the 3rd floor of a brick building that smelled faintly of dampness. The walls were yellowed with age, and the floor creaked at every step. I was alone, and I liked it that way. The first night passed quietly. I unpacked, ate noodles, and fell asleep, until a scratching sound woke me. It came from inside the wall. At first I thought it was a rat, but the sound was too slow, too deliberate. It stopped when I listened. It waited. The next night the scratching returned, joined by whispers. Low, breathy, coming from the walls themselves. I froze. The air grew cold enough for me to see my breath. By the 3rd night, I couldn't ignore it anymore. I set my phone to record while I slept. At 2:13 a.m., something moved. A thin, liquid-like shadow sliding along the wall, across the ceiling, and down toward my bed. It paused, then vanished. Morning came. No marks, no footprints, nothing. But the next night, it returned. First the shadow, then footsteps, then whispering. Days blurred. I began waking in strange places, sitting at the table with a book I didn't remember taking. A cup on the floor, the window open. When I told my friends, they laughed. Just stress, they said. But I knew it wasn't stress. The shadow had started to watch. One night I stayed awake. At 2 a.m. it appeared again, gliding along the wall like liquid smoke. It stopped across from my bed. I couldn't move. I couldn't scream. It leaned closer. And though it didn't speak, I felt what it said. Fear, emptiness, control slipping away. When dawn came, I realized I'd changed. Each night the shadow used my body. Sometimes I stood by the window staring outside, with eyes that weren't mine. I tried to leave, but the door wouldn't open. The keys turned freely, yet the lock stayed shut. Behind me, the shadow moved, slow, deliberate, breathing cold into my ear. And I finally understood. I wasn't a guest here. I was part of it. Part of the apartment, part of the walls, part of the shadow. They say new tenants still move in sometimes. They hear scratching, footsteps, and a voice that whispers through the dark. Don't turn off the light, or she will wake up.